Okay, so we ended off the previous period where we said, dames. Nee, ek weet wat julle naam is. Okay. Vind uit grondbeginsels die afgeleide van. So from first principles, I want you to get the derivative. So this is now the longer method. Nee? Now there's a formula and you'll see I wrote it down. That means derivative. Nee? Sodra jy daai klein kommaatjie sien, dan weet jy mos hulle soek afgeleide. Nee? So derivative is equal to f x plus h minus fx and all of that over h. Nou dit, as ek reg is op jou formuleblad. Nee, I'll double check little later on once I'm done with these. Maar sover ek weet, is hy op jou bladsy, nee? En dat ek net daaronder vir jou gesê, onthou, die afgeleide is ook die gradiënt, because we're working towards that where we've got to draw the third degree graph, en dan die gradiënt, om hom te kry, gaan kry ons die afgeleide. Okay, right, can I skip? Want nou moet ons gou 'n voorbeeld doen, of 4 voorbeelde. Ja. Okay, Hanna op die skryf nog? Ja, onthou, ons het hierdie gedoen, all that was added was the green and the red.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's going to be looking long.
Ma'am, you don't understand how fast our first two periods were.
Sorry?
Remember that the derivative is derivative.
Okay, kan ek maar skip? Ja, ek gaan nou, hy begin nou lekker blaas. Ek kan hom al voel. Kan jy hom nog voel? Maak dat toe, dan gaan dit vinniger gaan. Okay, right people? So, find from first principles the derivative of 5x squared. Okay, now you will see that in that equation that we had, there was a fx, right? And there was a fx plus h. No, okay, so that is usually where we start. Now, some kids like doing it all in one, right? And some like breaking it up and then skipping to the part where I just substitute in. So I'm going to try and show you both, right? First things first, fx is what was given. En dit is daai 5x kwadraat. Nee. Okay, now, if you look at your equation, we will have, to show that it's derivative, f kappikie x equal to. En nou gaan jy sien wat daai limite inkom. Now I've got to say, the limit where h strives to 0. Dit gaan altyd wees h streef na 0. Okay, it will always be that. Yeah? Find from first principles the derivative of 5x squared. Okay. Nee, hy gaan altyd. Wanneer hulle sê vanaf eerste beginsels, nee, dan gaan hierdie eerste stukkie, this part that I'm writing now, will always look like that. You always say derivative equal to limit h strives towards 0, and then you write your formula. Is julle reg? Okay, now from there on, I can just say equal and then limit h strives towards 0. Nou moet jy gou onthou, nee? When we did those limits, what was the first thing that we had to do? we have to simplify and then eventually factorize and cancel out. And right at the end, we substitute in that h is 0. Nee, so ons gaan nou selfe goed gebruik. Nee? No, it's the same thing. It's just this added step. So before I can do that, I first got to figure out what is fx and what is fx plus h. Okay, so onder gaan hy nog steeds wees h. I know what fx is. That's the 5x squared. Maar kom ons kry net gou-gou vir fx plus h. Okay, so fx plus h will be equal to. Now kyk gou-gou hier. The only thing that's going to happen. Can you see this is the only thing that's different? Nee, it was added here. So jy gaan dit, so jy gaan dit nou net daar gaan insit. You're just going to say plus h in there. Do you guys understand? Maar onthou van die hakkies. So, kyk gou-gou. It's going to look like that. 5. And then instead of just x, I'm going to say x plus h. And then square. Excuse me, ek sukkel nou om my kwadraat te sien. So can you see that the only difference between that one and this one is where I just had x, I now fill in x plus h. Is julle okay? Good. So if you want, you can go and substitute that in here. So dan in plaas van fx plus h, I'm going to write 5x plus h squared. And then minus, what is fx? 5x squared. Wees nie by so ver nie. Okay, now it looks like the ones that you had for homework for today. Nee. Nou moet ons dit gaan uitmaal. Now, what I said earlier on is some kids like to do that part separate. Okay? So ek doen nou sommer so al twee in een vir jou. Hier so langs die kant gaan ek nou gaan vir jou sê, okay, so wat gaan fx plus h minus fx dan wees? Hey, yo. That would be basically what we had at the top of that fraction. Okay, so nou gaan maal ek gou-gou uit. Dit gaan wees 5x kwadraat plus 10xh plus 5h kwadraat and then minus 5x squared. X in front. Do you know how I got there? Okay, I'm going to write it here at the bottom where I've got more space. That's actually x plus h times x plus h. No? And then I had to do this. X times x, x squared. X, h, so it will be 2xh, h squared. En dan gaan maal ek nou die 5 in. So 5x squared plus 10xh plus 5h squared minus 5x kwadraat. Do you now see how I got there? No. Do you have to have? No, you could technically skip to this. Yeah. Yeah. Dit is hoekom ek sê, because you might not like writing that over h, and then this over h, and then this over h. Okay? Dis 'n klomp skryf. So dit is hoekom party kinders daarvan hou om dit hier langs die kant. They first work out what would fx plus h minus fx be, en dan gaan sit hulle hom sommer direk in die formule. Okay, so you can do either one of the two. Work it out on the side and then go put it into your formula. But you've got to show that working out, né? Of jy bly heeltyd in jou formule al daai stappies skryf. Op die onderkant. Oh. Okay, goed. Wat was daai nou? What is this? Okay, is julle almal okay? Right, so, in your formula, and remember, you specifically asked this morning, I've got to keep on writing the limit where h strives towards that. So dan gaan jy hê 5x kwadraat plus 10x over h. Alright, now, we simplified as far as we can go. What was our next step? Factorize. Wat gaan ek hier uithaal? Daar's 'n gemeene faktor van ekskuus, ek wil net gou dit wys. Kyk gou 5x kwadraat minus 5x kwadraat. Nee? Do you guys see that? Okay, so technically I only have this middle part and there's a common factor of ja. Jy kan 5h uithaal, nee. Maar eintlik wat wil ek doen? Ek wil mos kanselleer daarna. So just take out the h. Nee. So 10x plus 5h op h. Okay, now these two are going to cancel out. So I'm going to have 10x plus 5h. Ja, jy moet hom hier nog skryf. Nee, skryf hom onder mekaar. Ja. Okay, now, we've cancelled out. So our last step is substitute in. That's 0. Nee. En as ek gaan 0 instel, wat gaan ek dan kry? Dis mos 10x plus 5 maal 0, and that gives me 0. So technically, it's only equal to 10x. Jy skryf dit asseblief onder. So equal to 10x. Can you see no limit anymore because I'm substituting in? Nee. No. Die sad deal. Let's kyk gou hier so. That if I get derivative of 5x squared, 2 maal 5 geef my 10 x tot die mag 1. Nee? Want jy het al so lekker kort pad. No? So, what we've been practicing today, this morning, is exactly this. So you use that method to go double check your answer. But you only use this long method when they specifically ask for first principles. Vanuit eerste beginsels. As hulle nie sê eerste beginsels nie, dan gebruik jy die kortpad. Okay, jy gaan in die huiswerk, kry jy, ek dink daar's 5 wat jy die lang pad moet doen from first principles, and then the rest is just normal deriving. Okay. Luister gou. So is there any questions on these? Because now you're going to try one on your own. Okay. Ready, steady, go. Jy doen dit net as hulle vir jou vra vanuit eerste begin. Dit kan soveel makliker gedoen. Right, doen gou vir my. Fx is equal to 2x squared. Dis nie 'n kar nie. It was stopping for the it's not a car though. No, it was there. It was like a yeah, dit was 'n lorry. Some minus the school. You think we're much better. Chocolate. Seems to be right. Okay, daarso. Ja, ek kan nie sing of dans nie.
You've watched Pro.
Let it go. Jy reken, daai twee het absoluut niks mekaar te doen.
And you know why you believe that you cannot sing?
Because Pythagoras told me so.
If you're close-minded, just because you can't do it right now doesn't mean you can't do it every month. Then I'm not listening to that. He's got to But actually, man, you have children and all of them watch Frozen, so I'm pretty sure you watched it over 1,000.
Ja, ek kan vir jou woord vir woord daai ding opsê.
While we're doing our work, man, yourself, musical excellence. When you get to the chorus thing,
Julle as my man sing, nê? My suster is jonger as ek, so baie keer toe ons nog gedate het, ek en my man, en het my sussie saam met ons gery, sê maar lift gevang, nê? En dan as hy begin saam sing met die radio, dan het sy haar oë so agteroor gedop en dan sy net vir hom sê asseblief stop, want hy dink hy sing, maar alles is dieselfde noot. Dis net die woorde verskil, maar alles dis is dieselfde toon. Ja. Ek dink so. Ek wonder waar is al sy onderbaadjies. Nee. Is julle klaar? Okay, moenie op my gillie. Ja. Enige dier het 'n bek.
so we also have been.
Nee, jy sê 'n dier nie.
Yes, we are.
Ek het nou eendag 'n grappie geluister, my man het daar op sy foon geluister. Dit gaan oor die lewensduur. Sê maar het vir die bobbejaan gesê jy kan 20 jaar lewe. Toe sê hy nee, hy wil 10 jaar wees. Of hy wil 10 jaar lewe op aarde. Toe sê hy, okay, hulle gee hom my 10 jaar afslag. En wag, nou moet ek gou gedink. Dit was 'n mens wat sê maar 30 jaar gekry het. Dan was dit 'n donkie. Hy het 20 jaar afslag gekry op sy lewe. En ek weet daar was 'n bobbejaan en daar was nog iets. Maar toe kom die man of die mens en toe sê maar hy wil sy lewe hê, die 30 jaar, plus dit wat by die bobbejaan en die donkie en kan onthou die ander ene is weggevat is. Sê die ou so nou sal jy sien vir 30 jaar is ons soos normale mense en dan vanaf 30 af, dan werk jy jou vrek soos 'n donkie vir 20 jaar en dan daarna kan onthou wat daai dier was nie en dan sê hulle die laaste sê maar 10 jaar van jou lewe. Dan trek jy rond soos 'n bobbejaan al agter jou kinders en jou kleinkinders aan en jy maak net vir almal strooi en gooi die appelkar om. Ja. Okay, wag. Okay, so over here you will have 2x plus h squared, nee? Nou moet ons gou gaan instel. So 2x plus h kwadraat minus the 2x squared. Okay, if I multiply that out, then I would get 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared and then minus die 2x kwadraat. Nee. Okay, so that's what I'm going to write at the top. Wat is dit? Het ek Ja. Okay, so in the next step, let's show the cancelling out. Then I'm just going to have 4xh plus 2h squared over h. And now I take out a common factor. Ja, sê maar. En nou vir jou wys waar jy gaan kry. So 4x plus 2h over h. Whoops. Now these two are going to cancel out. So 4x plus 2h, and that means, ek weet nie of julle kan julle sien hier onder, ja. Okay, so that will be 2 times 0, so al wat oorbly is 4x. Can you see no limits, nothing in front of it? And then we go back and double check with the short method. If I get derivative of that, 2 times the 2 in front will give me 4, x to the power of 1. Hey, who got this one? Okay, goed. Well done. Dis definitief julle weet waar julle moet uitkom, but the steps in between is important, né? Maar kom ons kyk gou-gou waar sou hulle vir jou punte gegee het. That one at the top definitely. Then over here, then for the factorizing, for that, and for this, sometimes they give you for that as well. Or dan sê hulle vir die substitution, and then this mark for simplification. Okay, so it's anything between 5 and 6 marks. Maar onthou, ja, maar onthou, die lekker ding van hierdie 5 or 6 marks is, you already know what the answer should be. So you can always get those 5 or 6 marks, nee, want jy gaan double check en kyk. Alright, so this is a dead giveaway, this is 'n stelling, jy moet hierdie punte kry. Okay, you guys good? Goed. Kyk gou-gou die enetjie. The only difference here is now I don't just have the 5x. No, ek het nou 5x plus 3. Okay, so you are still going to do this on your own. Let me just run through with you guys. Okay, so 5x will be, fx will be 5x plus 3. Wat gaan f x plus h wees? Come in. 5, and then x plus h, and dan plus, and dan plus 3, nee? Okay, right, go. You guys do. Ek het in my kaart, ek gaan saam stap. Ja. Determine the derivative of fx by using first principles or from first principles. Okay.
You know, we had a good time. I think it's the last
Waar is die kwadraat? Kyk gou-gou hierso, daar's niks. Dis net 5x plus 3. So dis 5x plus h en dan plus 3. Kyk daar het ek hom vir geskryf. Okay, like so. Like that.
Ja. Hoe kan jij niet? Jij is geen aan het werk. Hoe kan je niet op je kop zetten? Ik kan het wel, maar ik kan het niet lezen. No. Sorry?
Nee, dat bestaat.
Nou, je ziet Chelsea. Je ziet Chelsea. Chelsea is scared. Maar ik vind het kan ze leren. Nee. Nou, dat is een. En dan is dat 5 half. Ik weet niet. Ik weet niet. Dat drie, man.
Dit hang af of jy by daai dis heel in die begin. Dis Sx plus H minus Fx. En omdat Fx twee goedjies is, moes jy minus Fx. That's where you probably went wrong.
Maar dan is nog steeds minus. Ja, 3 minus 3.
Nee, is nie.
Plus 3. Juffrou, is iets.
Wat?
Is er een vries?
Ek weet, dit moet wees. Want jy werk mos nog.
Juffrou, wat staan er?
Huh?
There's too much complexity. Oh, wait.
You guys done? Onthou jy gaan double check it. Go double check with a short method. You know what the answer will be.
I forgot.
Wat? Jy het gekry? Did you say? Did you put the fx, the two terms in brackets? Did you multiply in? Okay. Kom maar. Waar 5x plus 3. O, jy bedoel nou die konstante. Ek gaan nou daarby kom, ek gaan nou verduidelik. But the derivative of a constant will always be 0. Ja. It's because you didn't put brackets around. Okay, but then... No, then...
Hoe is hy kan?
Ja, daai is reg. Maar kyk hierso. 5x, 5h plus 3. 5x, 5h. Okay, that must be gone. Okay, right. Kan ek maar oopmaak? Okay, so the important part is you had to remember to put that in brackets. Nee? Why? Because it was minus the full fx. So dan moet jy onthou om vir my in hakkies te gaan sit. Nee. Now when I multiply those in, you would get this. Now 5x minus 5x geef my niks en 3 minus 3. So that is how I end up with 5h over h. Dan moet jy vir my sien dat die h en die h kanselleer uit. So my antwoord is 5 Now the next step after I got that, you had to substitute in h0, but there's no 0. There's no h. So my final answer is still just 5. Nou onthou, kom ek wys net gou vir jou die kort metodetjie. We had 5x plus 3. Nou hierdie is 5x tot die mag 1. Nee. Okay, so if I get derivative of that, 1 times that 5 will still be 5, and then x to the power of 0. Nee, so that is why that part only becomes 5. Is julle reg? Now, let's talk about this constant. Ek gaan hom nou sommer gou eers sê, die afgeleide van 'n konstante, the derivative of a constant will always be 0. Let me show you why. Because technically after this, there's a x to the power of 0. Nee, want x to die mag 0 is mos 1. Nee? Now if I take that 0 and I multiply it with a 3, it's going to give me 0 x to the power of minus 1. Maar 0 maal daai gee nog steeds vir my 0. Okay? So nee, jy hoef dit nooit te skryf nie. When you see a constant, jy gooi hom net weg, hy's 0. Okay? Goed. So, any questions there? Julle begin hom nou lekker reg kry, nee? Okay, last one. Ja? Skryf jy nog? Skus? Nou so? Ja, sy skryf net gaan nog. Okay, is jy klaar? Jy skryf nog, nee? Is jy klaar? Okay, laaste ene ouens, en dan gee ek vir jou huiswerk. Differentiate using first principles. Fx is equal to 3 to the power of 3 over x. Sê weer? As jy die kortpad wil gebruik, dan ja, dan moet ek mos nou eers, nee? Maar vir nou, my fx gaan bly 3 op x. Nou, fx plus h will become 3 over x plus h. Right? Okay, now I would advise you to first work out those two. Nee, en dan gaan ek nou net vir jou hierso sê, have a look at what we end up with. Maybe we can multiply with something to make it easier for me at the top and the bottom. Ek gaan nou net eers so skryf. Gaan sit hom eers in en kyk wat jy kry. Want jy gaan sien, you've got a fraction within a fraction. Ek gaan kyk miskien na wat jou noemer bo gaan wees en dan maal jy met daai noemer bo en onder. That's basically what you're going to do. Ja, onthou net daai x plus h is jou noemer, né? Come in. Hello. Gaan jy my video kyk? Okay, ek gaan sommer vir jou bladsytjies gee. Like baie woes hierso. Ek probeer. Gebruik jou kort metode. I kan sien toe dag. Weet mos nou nie wat sy gedoen het nie.
Kan ons dan dit gebruik?
Yes, sou kon.
Sou dit
Van
makliker
daar af
wees,
gewerk het, maar nou, hoe gaan jy dit gebruik in jou? Hoe gaan jy kry? Gewoonlik het jy gaan sê daai hakkies maar met 2. Dit gaan dit net so moeiliker maak. So hou maar by jou spreek.
No, it's not correct.
Oh, wait, moet jy van daar af hiernatoe kom?
Cross multiplication.
Nee.
I looked at that.
Nee. Okay, what I meant is... Okay, so net wat ek gou make your denominators the same. So denominator I want to be x plus h.
Okay.
So in other words, yeah, I have to multiply with x, so dan gaan ek 3x of x plus h. En hier gaan ek x plus h en bo 3x plus h. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So first make denominator the same.
So that's 3x and that's h.
3
Plus
bracket x plus h.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I make denominator the same.
Okay.
Yeah, mooi. Okay, but now I want to get rid of. I've got a fraction within a fraction. This is lekker, nee? So what I could do is that denominator, nee? Multiply with that. But I'm going to multiply with x plus h over x plus h. Want dat het mos 1. Ja, as ek gou kort is, ek kort het. So I'm going to say times x plus h, because then I'm getting rid of that fraction. But I can't just multiply with it. I must do that. Because that whole thing is 1. So then I'm not changing anything here. That over h. Nee, maak het sin. Bye.